How do you define power?
Power sometimes has a connotation that's negative. For me, power is decisive decision making. So if power is used the right way, there's nothing negative about it. And I would say if you use that to better the products, the client experience, the firm in general, ultimately the shareholder value, then there's nothing wrong with it. When you use power to define yourself in a career or an objective, then it's a negative.
There's very few women in the financial service industry. How has gender influenced your professional path, both in ways that may have created challenging opportunities or ways that even created more positive opportunities for you?
Gender hasn't prohibited me from excelling within my career path over the years. I don't know if it necessarily was a catalyst to me excelling either, but I do think that from an interaction perspective, one of the things that the gender affords is the opportunity to be noticed differently. You're noticed for your talents, but first and foremost, and I believe that in our organization, and I train that in our leaders, that it's about talent recognition. But then you're noticed because you're perhaps the only woman in the room when decisions are being made. Our business model itself, I am the only woman partner, and I co-run the team with a male partner. And through my career, even in the corporate side of business, I was very often the only woman in that boardroom. I like to keep my own personal style. I haven't changed that, and I think that that brings a certain uniqueness to it just by nature of our gender and how we operate.
What's been the most challenging thing you've had to sacrifice when you're looking at all the different dynamics of your life?
It goes to personal more than I think it goes to professional for me. I'll point out my other partner, which is my husband, was a chemical engineer, and both of our jobs required a tremendous amount of time and travel, and we have 2 young boys. And it's a partnership. It's not, I don't feel like I paused my career or put anything on hold to have children. I think there's nothing wrong with doing that, and many women have done that. We had a conversation, and I'll never forget it, where he said, "You love what you do." I don't love what I do. And that moment of clarity for us was, you're successful, we are blessed and fortunate, and we have 2 beautiful children. I would love to go teach. He's like, that's what I always wanted to do. It just didn't afford me the ability to do that, to take care of my family. So we made a conscious decision as partners to sacrifice his career, basically, and he enjoys what he does today and is as passionate about it as I am about what I do.
What's the most challenging part of your job? Something that you have focused on more than ever before?
In today's environment, it's really about the brand recognition. When you look at the Occupy Wall Street and the public perception of financial services firms, we certainly find ourselves in a position that we hadn't years ago, which is the public perception is we're the bad guys.
People also talk about failures as defining moments, and failures also being some of the most powerful ways to experience lessons. What was your most successful failure, if you look at it like that?
For me personally, in a corporate environment, there is managerial and leadership and executive changes all the time. And I always prided myself in the ability to adapt to change. When a regime changes, sometimes in corporate America, well, whether you be a woman or you be a male, sometimes that leadership table right below that leadership changes as well. And that's something that I was able to navigate very well in my career. I think my greatest failure is I did have a particular boss that it just didn't work. And being such a people person and using that as my strength and skill, it felt like a personal failure, that I just couldn't make a relationship and interaction work.
What do you think the most elusive leadership quality is to achieve or to see in individuals today?
Humility. I do think sometimes in a focused financial services role, you have empathy and humility with your clients, but it lacks with each other. I like to think that it's there, and I certainly think it is in many, many of our leaders. But sometimes it's well hidden. So I think empathy and humility is one I'd like to see a little bit stronger on the forefront.